welcome to my channel. I'm Maddie Astro and this is episode 5. So on this episode we're going to be talking about cameras, but not just cameras, we're also going to be talking about the whole imaging train itself, because realistically you can't talk about one without the other, because the best way to probably think about it is to realise that the telescope is effectively just the lens of the camera. So really you can't really discuss one without the other. To show you basically how the best way to sort of determine your camera and how I determine mine, I'm going to share my desktop with you, and I'm going to take you to astronomy.tools. This is a great little website designed to help you with various things to do with astrophotography and astronomy in general. It's really good. But there's the many calculators, but the one we really are interested in tonight is the suitability one. So it goes into a bit about how it all works, to determine the everything. I'm not going to really talk through that, so that's, you can all go to that site and read it for yourself if you want to. What we're really interested in is the actual calculator here. So, which is basically to determine the resolution, effectively, the resolution you can get, and it's basically determined by pixel size divided by telescope focal length times 206.265. So when I first started out, I purchased a Newtonian telescope, and I'll just find it on here. I'll attempt to, if it'll let me. It wasn't that one. Explorer, 200p, there we go. It was 200p. And my camera was Canon Canon 1100D, there we go. And so just by default, without even trying, I actually managed to get a setup that actually was pretty optimal. In fact, you can see it's slightly better than optimal in the sense that it's actually not right in the centre of that. So without really trying, I'd actually got a really good combination. So that still works well today. However, when I got my Red Cat, which has focal length of 250, so it's basically a quarter of the focal length, you can suddenly see that this setup is no longer optimal at all. In fact, I'm getting significant undersampling. To understand what undersampling is, it basically just means that your camera doesn't have sufficient number of pixels for the resolution that the telescope is providing. So this basically just means that you can end up with blocky images, so blocky stars kind of thing. So I'm just going to this website here because this gives a good demonstration to sort of give an idea of what we're talking about. Like, this is extreme. You wouldn't expect this. That we're talking about stars. See, stars might appear a bit blocky. Not the moon itself, but it gives a demonstration. And if you're interested in reading this article from Sky and Telescope, I will put the link in the video description. So that's basically how that works. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have some undersampling, because it means you'll get a better noise to signal to noise ratio. So there can be some benefit to being somewhat slightly oversampled, but not massively like that, I don't think. So Anyway, back to astronomy tools. So, as I was saying, so this wasn't really good setup. So I started looking into a new camera because I'd wanted to get one for a while anyway, and decided to get a dedicated one. And I decided to go with a ZWO simply because I've purchased an Isaiah Pro, so it made sense to go for one of their cameras. So I started having a look around. A lot of people suggested the where is it, 294, but again I'm not getting a great resolution per pixel. It's significant undersampling again, but that, as it says here, combination leads to significant undersampling. This reduces the influence of guiding errors and improves signal to noise ratio. So as I said, there are some benefits to undersampling, but you've got to weigh that with, do you want to have crisp pinpoint stars? Because with this setup, you're probably not going to get that. You might be alright in wider field images, but, it's, who knows? Yeah, it'd be a case of trial and error, I guess. Anyway, so obviously this camera wasn't really suitable for it. But if I go back to, if I put the 1000 in, so for the 200p, you can see it'd be great for that, but obviously not for the Red Cat. So that would be a great camera to have for my Newtonian, but not for my Red Cat. So that's not really an option. Yeah, it would probably be workable, but it's like I want something more optimised, something better, so I started having a look around. A lot of people suggested the SI533, but again, as you can see, it's better. It's at 3.1, so I've seen people say that up to 3's okay, but it's like I was thinking, I don't know. It's not going to be as bad, but I wasn't entirely convinced. Plus, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the square form factor. I kind of like the letterbox kind of effect. So I kind of ruled that out. And all the other cameras are pretty similar. Just all very similar to that kind of thing. So really, there's only actually one camera that they do currently on the market, really, that worked, and that was the 183. As you can see there. So it's like it is on the higher end, but that's perfectly fine. And so this was the one I decided to go with in the end. So, and it's the one I have right here on my lovely Red Cat. So that was the combination I went with. But obviously everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to have different needs. Like obviously if you're not subscribed to the ZWO ecosystem, then you may want to be looking at entirely different range of cameras. But for me, this is what's turned out to be the best one. Like some people have said that it has bad Anklo, but to be fair, most of these cameras do anyway, and you can remove that with using dart frames and flats and biases and that kind of thing. So I wasn't too worried about that. So I certainly advise it if you're looking to get a new camera. What I would say is, if you haven't already bought your scope, start considering them together. before you buy your telescope, a camera, come to a website like this and just put them in. It has most of them in here, or them in here. If it doesn't, you can put them in manually, the focal length and the pixel size. The manufacturer should state somewhere on their information what the actual pixel size is, so you should be able to find that out fairly easily. And so basically just do your research. I think it's just a case of working out what's, you just need to work out what you're, if you haven't already got the telescope, work out the kind of aperture you're looking for, and then, decide, do you want to go for, are you going to go for a DSLR, or are you going to go for a dedicated camera? As I've said in previous videos, if you've already got a DSLR, use that, at least initially. It's like, yeah, it might not be the best combination, but, it's not going to be rubbish. It's just basically going to be, you might have some to deal with oversampling. Sorry, not oversampling, undersampling. Oversampling is a different kettle of fish altogether. Oversampling just literally means that you've got more pixels than you actually need. So, which has its other issues, but generally it's better than being undersampled. So one other thing we probably should touch on when it comes to the camera is actually back focus. This is quite important. Generally speaking, when you're dealing with DSLRs, you generally don't have to worry about it too much, because usually the actual T-adapter that is made for that particular brand of telescope usually will give you round about the right back focus. So, but when you're dealing with an actual dedicated camera, it's quite important. So when it comes to ZWO, they typically recommend a 55mm back focus. However, that's just basically to sort of an average. They do say to check with the manufacturer of a telescope. So I know with the Red Cat 51 that it's actually the recommended back focus is 59.7, and so I actually have mine configured to exactly 59.7 with the use of spacers. So I'm right on that. Like, though a lot of people actually are just using 55 and say not having any issues with it, but I had the necessary parts, so I thought, why not? I'll have it exact. So I think that is really the only things you probably need to really think about. As I say, the back focus is only really an issue if you're dealing with a dedicated camera. So, that's just something to be aware of. So really, I think that's all I really want to touch on. So I will leave it there, and I will wish you all clear skies until next time. Bye.